Yeah, is that close enough for you? Yeah. Well, I hope we've all lived through today. I think it's starting to cool off a bit now. I'm just over minding friends' dogs. But yeah, the old van got hot today. Even the floor was hot. So yeah, I'm not sure whether to up the generator to a massive one. So if ever I'm in this weather, I can run it, and then buy a second, more powerful aircon. Just not sure at the moment, but yeah, it got to 35 in the old caravan today. Poor old Buster was struggling. Another person's place I helped fit a van, reverse cycle, and yeah, because of the insulation and that, it's a lot better. A bit of an update. I said an update. Yeah, my solicitor sent me a file of why I'm going back to court. I won't mention names because we'd hate to spoil the scene, but the dude, in summary, because I can't say word for word, you legally can't do that, but I can surmise. The police taped him, and what he said, in summary, was that the father was alright, that's Alan, but that I was a rat bag. Yeah, okay. And he said he said, had he said anything, was there any conversation before the incident? And he said no. Did you say anything? Was there any altercation? No. Okay. And then, out of order, they asked him what happened, and he said, well, he just came over with this blue pillow and stuck it in my face or on my head. And he refers later back to that statement, and that I'd held it there for 2 or 3 minutes. Geez, he's a ghost. So that's a lot of crap. What blue pillow? From where? And when he was asked to describe me, he couldn't. He says, was there any indistinguishable features about him? Can you? I mean, I didn't have the tattoo on my head, but balls would have been good. Balls and big beard would have been good. But he just said, oh yeah, hair everywhere, and like he was fat. Well, actually, a lot of that's muscle from years of deadlifting, but yeah, it's covered. 100, if you want to call that. I think, if I hold my breath. So yeah, I'm 110 kilos. But he was referring to me big as just fat. Yeah, well. Then the other thing was he was 6'2" himself, and he described me as 5'8". Don't know where I got that from. I'm 6 foot, right on the button. But contradicted himself, because first he said that there was no exchange of words before I went over and put this blue pillow on his face. And they asked him if he had anything. He said, oh yeah, I was glad when he let go of the blue pillow. I wasn't trying to smuggle him. And he also said that he backtracked then, and then said that I told him he was arguing with his dad about a car, and he didn't have any money and he couldn't afford it. Like, so that's what I said about the hearing problem between him and me, is that I couldn't hear what he was saying, just that I knew that the tone of it was not good, straight off, the pretty flowers and whatever. But there was no car we're talking about a cart, right? And Dad was talking about, well, how about money to go and pay David Jones, because David Jones don't like you paying unless you pay by BPay. That's what he's hearing, that I'm having trouble finding. Dad was very incoherent and mixed up about this time, and not clear about paying bills or anything. So what he heard was that Dad didn't understand that we couldn't pay by BPay. I'd need cash money to go and pay off his, nothing to do with me, I don't buy any DJs, because I was paying for Dad's bills that were regular bills. So that took from the room that we got wheeled from, that the guy was trying to interfere with on that, right to this room. The whole conversation between Dad and me was about how to pay the beeper and trying to talk to DJs who didn't seem to be very cooperative from my side of just paying it with a credit card. They won't do that. Yeah. So all I said to Dad is, well, I'll have to go down and pay it, which I actually did. I used my money to pay it, and Dad reimbursed it. So he was saying that I was asking Dad for a car, and that he didn't have nice words about me. So, like, I forget, it was scallywag, scum, something, whatever. Obviously didn't have money, so I guess he thought I was leeching Dad for money. So he got his facts pretty wrong, because he then said that he told me to shut up. Well, that means there was a conversation, between him and me. He told me several times to, shut up, be quiet. So there was a lead up, wasn't there? And then he's saying there wasn't any. And then what he doesn't mention is that he suddenly forgot that he's beckoned me over to talk. What he said was, I threatened him that I'll teach him. It's not my way I talk. I'll teach him if he keeps threatening me. I didn't use that sort of words. And then he said, if I continue, I'll teach him a lesson. And then when I've got the pillow over his head, that'll teach her. Nah, I didn't say anything. That's just not how I would, even if I was really angry. So he's just depicted me as this angry guy that's run over and stuffed a pillow in his face. No wonder they're concerned and tried to snuff him or whatever. I've never used a pillow in any of the fights with a doorman or anything. It's just not how I would do things. When you've done martial arts, 3 styles, 2 styles mainly, Ri and Goju Ryu, you don't use pillows. And I was just I just caught his punch and used the other arm as you would do in a wrestling move, where to get someone's knife. If you imagine getting someone's knife, you use your forearm, cross the other forearm, you put pressure on, they drop the knife. That's all I was doing with him to let go of my beard. It's a very common maneuver. So he let go of my beard, which he never even mentioned I had, or that he was pulling. So, be interesting at court. I wish Conley had a little bit more faith in me, because it sounds sort of like he's really worried and saying don't do this, don't do that. Mate, it's a bit tough when people don't seem to believe what you tell them. How have I kept such a good record up until now in all the hospitals Dad's went, if that hadn't happened? And it still goes back to questioning why the hospital wheeled Dad in to a loony's place. You can tell by his voice, because I had heard the recording and the way he talks about me, and that he's seen me before. I never seen him before in the hospital with Dad. So anyway, I guess you judge me from my looks and being fat, and just a load of hair all over the place. So that's the latest update. Bye for now.